Hey, it's Tom from Texas, and it's time for another Floppy Deep Dive. Today I went on a road trip to pick up another load of Commodore 64, Commodore 128 things, and now I'm going to go all through it for the first time with you guys, so you can see my reaction and you can hear it in my voice if I like something or don't like something. But you can see it for the first time as I do the unpacking and go through all these boxes to see what we have in there. I hope you like this. It's just a little something different, but still all Commodore related. And if you love Commodore stuff as much as I do, I think you'll like this video and see all the cool stuff that we got. So if you like it, please subscribe and let's get started. So right now my trunk is empty, going on a road trip to Fate, Texas to see if we can get it filled up. So made it to Fate, Texas, and gonna go meet that guy at his house. So now I've loaded up my trunk full of all the stuff for Commodore 64, and it's a lot. And I also have some stuff in the back seat because I couldn't get it all to fit in my trunk. So this is the mother load I picked up today in Fate, Texas, while I was there. Got quite a bit of stuff to go through, and I'm going to bring y'all along with the journey and look at it while I'm looking at it and testing it out and seeing what works, and hopefully it all does. And excited to go through it and see what I just added to my collection. But I wanted to show you the 1902 monitor. Haven't hooked it up yet. And then the other hardware that I picked up today got me another Commodore 128. Hopefully it works. Haven't tested it either. Also picked up Commodore 64C. It is very yellowed. I don't know if you can see that or not, but this one's very yellow. It's probably the most yellowed keyboard I've ever owned. It'll be my first attempt to use retro bright or putting it out in the sun or doing whatever I have to do to try to get this to change back. Also need to test it and make sure that it works. So 2 computers, 1 monitor, and then multiple drives. So picked up, this is the thing that I love the most, a 1581 today. And I have already tested this one, and this one works like a champ and needs cleaned up and needs to get restored looking good again, but definitely works, and glad to add this to my collection. Another thing that I picked up is a 1541-2. I've never owned a 1541-2 before. This is my first one. So I will be trying this out. Uses the same power supply that the 1581 uses, and tested it, works perfect. Also today got another 1571. Love to have this with my Zoom floppy. Now I have a few of these, 3 of these guys. Haven't tested this one out yet, but I will. Excited to have another 1571. They're so touchy, but they're great with the Zoom floppy. So excited to give it a test. Got another 1541, but this is the one for the 64C. So it's the newer case, the wider cover on it. Just like the way that it looks. Needs a lot of cleanup. Haven't tested it yet, but another piece of hardware I picked up today. And last, picked up another 1541, came along with this collection. So this one's actually, I haven't tested it either, but I'm sure it needs a good head cleaning, and I'm going to open them all up and make sure they're all clean before I turn them on. But the 1581, I couldn't wait, so I checked it out and it's great. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and showing you everything else in all these boxes that I've got surrounded all around me going one by one, and hopefully you find this interesting and enjoy it as much as I did getting it and now going through it all and trying it all out for the first time. So this I've seen on eBay, but I have never owned one before, and it's the Incredible Musical Keyboard. I'm not even sure exactly if it works or how it works, but looks like the instructions are all in there telling me how to do it, and the drive instruction manual, and this just looks like it goes on top of the bread bin, so we will definitely give that a go later. But very, very cool. I've never had this and excited to give it a shot. So nice. So I'm going to go over this with you guys, just like for when I see it the first time, you're going to see it for the first time. We're going to start with this case, and we start off with something really good at first. The original Pac-Man, which is very cool. I did not own. So off to a good start there. Card games, just games. We'll have to do a floppy deep dive on that. Ooh, Dig Dug, the original Dig Dug, one of my favorite games, one of my favorite arcade games back in the 80s. And now I have the original copy of it. That is freaking awesome. The Rider, I believe I have that somewhere. The Dolphin's Rune original. I have never played that, nor am I aware of what it is, but it says it's a poetic odyssey. All right, another classic. So Frogger by Sierra, the official Frogger. Did not own that before. Now I do, very cool. Speed Reader. Oh, and another classic, another one of my favorites back in the day that I talk about, Caveman Ugg Olympics. Disc 1 and 2, sweet. That is a nice start to looking at through this collection. I did not have the originals of Caveman Ugg Olympics or those other classics, so very, very cool. All right, let's move on to the next item. So just open up another floppy case here, and I've just pulled out this one has a bunch of originals. Adult Poker, Archon 2, sweet. Labyrinth, move this out of our way. Labyrinth, I've got Firebird, I can't read it. Does it say 4? Something plus. I'm sure y'all are all going to tell me what it is, but I can't make it out by the label. Anyway, I got Robots at Dawn. I've got another Space Taxi. What I hear is rare, and now I've got 2 of them in the manual. So 2 copies of Space Taxi, which with how rare it is just amazing that I've come across those in 2 of my pickups. I got Lode Runner, Championship Lode Runner in that fact. Got Lunar Outpost original, Predator, Raid on Bungling Bay, one of my favorite games. So proud to have that as the original. How can you not want the original of the Ghostbusters game? So freaking cool. Adventure Construction Set, Borrowed Time, an original Destroyer, something called Spectrum Holobite. Not sure what it is. I will check it out. Got another Star Trek Evolution, Batman, the original Batman, freaking sweet. How about this? Defender of the Crown, nice. Got Quick Pro 2 and Ninja. So this case turned out to be just a plethora of originals, and I freaking love it. So cool to have these originals, and we will continue on. Got a few more still to go. Alright guys, so for a matter of time, because I had so many floppy cases to go through. I just went through and pulled out the originals. If I had an original, I pulled it just to show you, because those are the ones I'm most interested in, and you don't want to see handwritten labels on the different ones. And that, like I said, that's another floppy deep dive. So here's some stuff that I pulled out that I think you might find interesting. So we're going to start with, we got Jingle Disc, another Jingle Disc, Looney Tunes print kit. We got Free Spirit 1541 and 1571 drive alignment, along with the manual for it. We've got something called Renegade, which I'm not sure it is. I think it might be a copier. Win, Lose, or Draw. Chessmaster 2000, cool. Expectation, I don't know what it is. Type Attack, yeah. Summer Games 2. Bop and Wrestle, cool game. Chuck Norris Super Kicks. If this is like the Chuck Norris I got, it's terrible, but I'm not sure. I'm going to load it up and see what it is. This one's cool. Mail Order Monsters, the original. How about this? Paperboy, the original. Skate Rock. Karnov, the original. RoboCop, the original. Molecule Man. Cronus Rift. Blockbuster, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Rastan, Karateka Original. That is badass. G.I. Joe. We got a little bit of Alf. The Goonies, classic. I love all Data Soft. I'm glad that he had a bunch of them. Realm of Impossibility. Deceptor. I got another copy of Bruce Lee, so now I got two Bruce Lees. Still waiting, gotta find a box for those, but love to have the originals. This one's classic, Spy vs. Spy. Thing on a Spring, not sure what that is. This triple pack's pretty cool. It has Beachhead, Beachhead 2, and Raid Over Moscow on it. So I didn't know they made like a compilation disc, it looks like in 1986, but they did. And those are all excellent games. Altered Beast original. I'm going to stop saying original because I know that's what it already is. Operation Wolf. Here's a cool one. Rambo First Blood Part 2. Seabase The Delta Imagination. A little bit of Double Dragon. Aliens. Montezuma's Revenge. Caveman Olympics, which we mentioned it before. I don't know, maybe it comes with 4, I can't remember. But I got 4 discs for Caveman Olympics. Kickstart Off-Road Simulator. Movie Monster. Future Night. Spider-Bot. Galaxian. Master of the Lamps, one of the first games I ever played on the Commodore, which is so freaking cool. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles World Tour, not sure exactly what that is. Systemized, not sure what that is. Little Computer People, excellent one. Vorpal Utility Kit, I have to open up, not sure what that is. Bulldog. The Haley Project. Quicks. Artie the Aardvark. Grandmaster Chest. Conan, another Datasoft game, excellent. Gremlins, another excellent one. Circus Charlie, not sure what that is. Here's a classic. Junior Pac-Man, and last but not least, Sky Fox. So those are all the originals I picked up today, quite a few. Considering I had very little originals in my collection from when I was a kid, and now to have all these is just, I'm just blown away. I'm so excited and just love to share it with you guys. So we'll move on to the next items that we have and go from here. Freaking awesome. So next in this box, I'm going to go through some of the cartridges. Got a fast load cartridge along with the manual. So He was selling it for 10 bucks. So another fast load. Actually, I already had another fast load that was attached to one of the back of the computers I got today, so I actually got 2 fast load cartridges today. Got an original Donkey Kong. When it came to cartridges, I only had Wizard of War and I think Speed, Math, and Bingo as a kid, so these are a lot of cartridges that I've never seen. I've had the games on floppies, but never the cartridge. I got Pole Position, classic. Another Atari Soft. We got Battle Zone. We got Robotron 2084. Got Story Machine by Spinnaker. Got the classic Moon Patrol. A lot of Atari Soft ones here, which is cool. Got the classic Seawolf. Got some Fisher-Price game, Memory Manor. Looks like you got a few of these Fisher-Price. Linking Logic. Hopalong Counting. Another Spinnaker. This one's the Facemaker cartridge. Got Ernie's Magic Shapes. Another classic here. I love all these Atari ones. Very neat. Got Centipede. Got Defender, classic. Got another kid game, Kinderkampf by Spinnaker. Spinnaker made all these educational games. Got Learning with Leaper by Bobbit. No idea what that is. I'm assuming some kid game. Here's another Commodore classic, the Radar Rat Race. Got Le Mans, another classic. And another Commodore, Kickman. Love those games. Got a new fast load cartridge, Warp Speed. I've never had this one before. We'll have to give it a shot. Cool. And the Wizard of War. I lost mine, so now I got one back again. Love it. And last, Kids on Keys. So I've got all those cartridges, so completely awesome. And that's everything. So I'm going to start digging through the boxes and seeing what we got in there. We've got Easy Finance 4, and I'm assuming these are all Commodore. I haven't had time. Yeah, Teammate. It's a tool. And something called Micro Lawyer. And let's see what else is in this box. I've got the Infocom game Sea Stalker. I've got Grand Prix Circuit Accolade game. Nice. And I got Springboard. It looks like the Newsroom. Springboard. Got some exciting inventory management. People have a lot of different stuff. Accounts, billing, and receivable. General ledger. We're doing payroll. Looks like whoever had this was doing everything at their office on the Commodore 64, which is cool. I was more of just a games kid, but see all that out there. 10 starter programs from Family Computing. Something from Lodestar Monthly. And Hessware Graphic Basic. Even got your Bible for the Commodore 128 and 64 in here. Got something called Music Calc. pretty cool. I definitely will check that out. Boring, but I got printer paper from the 80s. Looks like they got a bunch of different colors and some white. I was actually out for my MPS 803, so cool. Now I have some of the original paper from the 80s. I've got Algebra Blaster. Not sure where this fell out of, but all these cards on the different jets. Sure ties to some game. I've got World Geography. So I also got some loose floppies in here. We got Muppets Adventure. Someone loves the Muppets. Muppets print kit. Big Bird Special Delivery. Astro Grover. Copy of Little Computer People. See if there's any originals in here. We've got Big Bird's Funhouse. Pals Around Town. Muppet Learning Keys. Castle Wolfenstein. Blue Max. I don't know if that's original Blue Max. It's got the snaps on there, so that might be an original Blue Max, which is pretty badass, I think. I've got Marble Madness original. Roadrunner original. Some kind of graph. Don't know what it is. Copy program, some family tree, stuff to dive into to see. Rerun, Star Trek, Zork 2, Zork 1. I've got a Spider-Man original here. I've got Disc Invaders, Copy 264 original. Some copies, Fast Hack'em, Monopoly original. A Fast Hack'em original. I've never seen original Fast Hack'em before. I've got Wheel of Fortune, and I've got a Mach 5 disc. And there's more. There's a big box. Let's see what else we got. Just a bunch of blank floppies, which is always good to have. Got a family tree writer. I've got an original of Cracker Jacks. I've got an original Risk. And I've got some reruns left in this box. So overall, pretty cool box of Commodore stuff. Let's continue on, see what else we got. So starting on the next box, I've got Star Trek, the original. Very cool. Nice little hardcover. I've got Star Trek The Rebel Universe. Also the original in there, along with the manual. Very cool. Got a copy of Word Attack. And an original Marble Madness. So we got some books. I got Geo's 64C. Another user guide, says Geos. Another Geos. And then actually Geos floppies themselves. I've got a Commodore 64 program reference guide. I got the 64C system guide. I got the 64 user manual. Two of them, in fact. I've got an 1802 color monitor. Even though I did not get an 1802 today, I got a different monitor. I got the 1571 user guide. I got 64 games for kids. And I've got Computer's first book of Commodore 64. Keep going. Got the famous Commodore 64 Programmer's Reference Guide and the Commodore 128 System Guide. And I'm going to move these before they all topple over. A few more books. Got the Commodore 1541 User Guide. Got the other 1541 disk drive. Got the hint booklet for Sea Stalker that we saw earlier. Using the Commodore 64 in the home. 64C user guide. And a cassette bonus pack, which looks to be more. Oh, we got some tapes. And then I got step-by-step interactive course of basic programming for beginners. And that has the floppy in there, along with the manual. Very cool. One of my favorite games, a little bit of battle chest here. Got everything in there. And it does, the original. Very nice. Now I got some hardware items that I'm going to show you. You might have to tell me what some of these are, because I never owned one of these before. Looks like something I plug into my cartridge, and where I could plug in multiple cartridges at a time. Very cool. Never owned one of those, so I'll have to try it out. And please put in comments if you know, give me more detail. I haven't researched anything. Like I said, I'm just pulling them out of the box for the first time. Looks like that's on there. Must be for the switch itself. Again, looks like it plugs directly into my cartridge. And I plug into that. I'm not sure exactly what it is for. Never had one, but again, please put in the comments exactly what it is if you guys want to help me out. Never can go wrong with these. These things are going for like 50 bucks on eBay. I know that because I actually purchased one recently. But now I got two, but this one's exactly the one I had as a kid. So, it never hurts to have those around. Got something else here. Again, I haven't searched anything to see exactly what this is, but it's called a G-Whiz. I'm going to have to do some searching on Google. Tell me exactly what it is and what it does for me. And if you know, just put in the comments. But I love all these new little gadgets to try out. Very, very cool. A 1670. I had one of these as a kid. I haven't seen one in a long time. I'm not sure what happened to mine, but a good 1200 baud modem. Brings back lots of memories of running the BBS. Here is a Hearsay 1000, and I forgot all about these, but I actually did have one of these as a kid for some reason. It's supposed to hear what you say. It's kind of like the old school, or Siri old school, right? Or something along those lines. I haven't messed with it in so long I don't truly remember 100%. It's been 30 years, but I haven't seen one of these in a long time. I forgot all about the Hearsays. Nice. And came with one of these, the controller with the button. Nice. See, make sure that that works. And let's see if I got a name on here. It looks like cartridge. Is it easy? I'm not sure. It looks like the sticker came off of it, but I'm sure you guys know. I'll have to do a research or plug it in and see exactly what it is. But that came along with it. Alright guys, we're on to the third box of stuff, so I'm just going to start showing you what we got. Speed Reader 2 and Spell It Spell, and some more educational software. I got the whole TimeWorks Data Manager for 128, the Swift Calc for 128, and the Word Writer for 128. Got something called Injured Engine, I guess to help fix the car. We got Create with Garfield. And I'm going to lower this down before it gets too high. I got Thunder Ridge, or I'm sorry, Thud Ridge. Kids on Keys, the box. Got Heroes of the Lance. Very cool. Accolade Comics. Something called Cut and Paste. Got Eagle's Nest, Into the Eagle's Nest. And Thinking Cap. I've got DuckTales. So cool. So basically, got all the manuals to all so far, all the different software that I've seen out there, and some that I haven't come across yet, but hopefully I will. Very nice. So originals and manuals. So that's always nice to have those together, as you know, because it's just the complete collection. Would love to have the box too, but I am not picky. So far, very pleased what I got here, and we will continue on. So lastly, I've got a bunch of these Lodestar for my 1581, different issues of Lodestar that came along with it, quite a few. And then I also got some of these 1581 disc for me to try out. Not sure what this is. Sport Terrifying Novel on Disc, 1994. I'm not sure what that is. And so that is everything, guys. We went through all the boxes. Well, I didn't take you through the boxes of cords. I don't think you want to see that. But everything else we have gone through, which is just an amazing haul today. Like I said, just so excited to go through it and test it all out and play with it and see what, I hope it all works, and just go through it. Does it figure out what all these different new attachments do and so forth. So real excited. Well, that's everything that I got. Those are all the boxes. That's all the pieces of hardware I picked up today. Like I said, it was a mother load that I got from Fate, Texas. And like I said, really excited to get it. Lots of original floppies, some great hardware, a lot of cartridges I never owned before. So a lot of cool Commodore 64 stuff, Commodore 128 stuff to check out, to play. I need to make sure that it all works. But happy to get it. Lots of floppies to go through. Just a huge collection, and it was just a great haul today, and I just wanted to share that with everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this edition of Floppy Deep Dive. We've got a lot of floppies to dive into, a lot of different hardware to dive into. If you like this, please subscribe, because we'll be making more videos as we go and increasing our collection and continue to grow. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments below, especially on the hardware that I'm not sure exactly what it is yet, and have to figure it all out. And if you could give me a little hints and point me in the right direction. Like I said, I just looked at this the first time, so haven't gone to Google, haven't looked anything up, but once I do and start trying to figure everything out, I think it'll be exciting. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, please subscribe, and thank you for watching another Floppy Deep Dive.